And just like that, we are back. The Cowboys Collective, John Machota, Law Nation, AOC, Attack on Cowboys. I think I'm getting pretty good at this quarterback thing. I'm trying to work on my host voice, Law.
Okay, all right. Well, you got
to make sure my energy's good.
You got good energy. Yeah.
Hey, look. Behind the scenes, I had the topics. I mean, AOC didn't have to cuss me out. We good. Like we. How's everybody doing, guys? Listen, we got a jam-packed one for today and tomorrow because I give a teaser. We're starting to hear some names really be tied to Dallas, and we'll kind of save that for tomorrow. But today, John Machota, as always, this episode 23, Law.
23. No, MJ. Is it MJ?
No.
Is it Kobe? It's
Kobe. Kobe. Okay, it's Kobe. It's Kobe. Two goats. Two goats. It's Kobe Bean Bryant. Kobe Bean Bryant. And as always, we start the show checking in with to me, the
Kobe. Yes, Kobe right here. Come on with it.
All right, Kobe. What's going on, John?
So, had the Tyron Smith press conference today. Unfortunately, no Jerry, Steven after it because we got a pre-draft press conference next week at the start. It'll probably be Tuesday. So no draft talk there. Just want to get that off the, right off the beginning. Tyron is not a big time speaker. Like he's not going to really say a ton of like behind the scenes stuff or getting deep into stories and things like that. So I can't say that he really shared too many stories that I hadn't heard before. It's pretty much par for the course. But I will say the thing that stood out to me was just Jerry talking about how he said it's, quote, a tragedy that they didn't win a Super Bowl when they had Tyron Smith, which is similar to what he said when they did the Zach Martin. And he said is pretty much the same about Tony Romo as well. And so, they're doing these press conferences, guys that'll be in the, Ring of Honor and Hall of Fame one day. But the one negative that comes from it is that you had this talent and you didn't really have the playoff success, So you can just tell Zach Martin was there today too. And he talked a little bit after. You can just tell between him and Tyron that I don't get the sense that either of them are going to have much of a regret come week one. Like I think that they're both very, very at peace with their decisions just because of, how the wear and tear playing in the NFL takes on your body, especially for that long. So, me personally, I'm just happy for those guys that they got out, not on where they're getting forced out because of some major injury. They see, hey, these are starting to add up. They're like, we got kids. We want to have a life raising our children and be healthy. And I totally get all that. And so that's the one thing that I will say I've been, I'm really happy for Tyron and Zach that it isn't one of those deals where they're forced to end their career early because of injuries. They're just at a time when they're like, hey, I'm not at the same level that I was before. I'm healthy now, got kids. Let's do the family thing.
Yeah, I got two things that I want to ask you since you was in the building. And one could be probably tiptoeing around the messy area, but he said that his QB1 is Dak Prescott, and he didn't spoke most of the time with Tony Romo. What's that detail is, and the other side of the question is it could be far right or far left. Is Travis Frederick okay? Because he wasn't there today, wasn't he?
I did not see Travis Frederick. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you good.
I did not see Travis Frederick there, so I'm not sure. But yeah, he did say that about Dak, that he is his QB1. Tony was not there. A lot of the same people from Zach's. The only difference was Jason Garrett was at the Tyron Smith one today, which isn't a surprise. I mean, that's Jason's first draft pick as a head coach. So, but yeah, that. Obviously, Tyron's close with Dak, and so that's why he said that. But Zach said that Dak is QB1 too. So I don't know.
Because Dak is the best quarterback in the NFL. That's why.
I was joking before it started, because there's a similar order we go in when we ask questions and that. And so I was joking with Clarence Hill about how I was like, yeah, I'm just going to come out right from my first question. Everyone's going to ask these like nice questions about their career, and I'm like, if you had one game to win, who would you line a quarterback, Romo or Dak? Like, I would never do that. But
why you come on?
I just wouldn't want to do that to Tyron.
Right. To Tyron, to put him on that pedestal like that.
Yeah.
That would be crazy.
It is interesting though when these guys get these prepared statements. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. when they start rattling off names, I'm thinking in my head, like, okay, who didn't they say? Who didn't they say? Because it's not like it's just like you're like at the Children Cancer Fund thing last Friday. I asked Dak about, with Lawrence being gone, Jordan Lewis and Zach, who needs to step up as leaders. And so, he said some names, but you're asking, he doesn't know I'm going to be asking him that. So it's not like he has that prepared. When you do one of these speeches on your retirement, you have it written out. You know who you want to mention and who you don't want to mention,
Right,
so,
right.
That is always interesting. That's a very, I don't know, TMZ tabloid type thing that I do in my head. You won't see me writing articles about that. But yeah, in my head, I always think about that.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you, and this for the panel, is Tyron the best probably, I can't say lineman, but I mean, he may be the best pick that I've seen. I mean, as far as consistency, is he the best pick that y'all have seen since you've been like covering this team, like draft pick?
Zach Martin. I mean,
if I had like to rankings, I'd do Eric Williams, LA, and then I'd go with Tyron Smith. I think that would be the proper order. But if Eric Williams was able to stay healthy throughout his career, then of course he'd be the creme de la creme. But I would put him as the most revered.
He had a lot of fanfare yesterday. Like I was like, whoa, like. Yeah. I knew Tyron was really. USC. This was what 2010, John.
Yeah, 2011 draft.
2011. So 2011 draft. But I'm like, bro. I mean, you had so many former offensive linemen. Tristan Wirfs went into detail about how much he looked up to Tyron Smith, and it was actually kind of cool just watching Tyron talk earlier.
Yeah,
he's so humble. Like he's so just like, I just was here to do my job. I missed that purity in football. Like he was just like, you could tell. I won't say he was uncomfortable talking, but you could tell he was just like, it's not really like a big deal to me, But he was such a technician. I mean, body beautiful. I mean, this guy, he made tackle to me like different. So I don't know. I was just like,
I mean, he was. I'm not saying he didn't do the work, but I mean, you just look at his build and everything. He was born to play left tackle.
Yeah.
I mean, because like, he's one of those guys where you wouldn't have to he didn't have to be like really on a diet, because they don't worry about he has to eat to keep the weight on and that. Whereas like there's other guys where you got to watch so that you're not getting out of shape, offensive linemen and stuff like that. You got to stay at a certain weight. Like he's not built like a typical offensive lineman. I mean, he's just completely shredded and then just, I don't know, like almost in a way, like kind of like LeBron James, like the size, like you shouldn't be able to move like that,
right?
That big. Especially if you played sports. That's the thing that always gets me is because I always played basketball when I was younger. And it's like, man, if you even get a 6'3" or above person that's coordinated, just to throw it in the post, they can just do a move. And then you're just like, oh my God, we got one.
Yeah.
Let alone someone that can do everything. That's what I always think about with Tyron Smith, where it's like, he can do whatever. Like he play right tackle, play left tackle. He can run block, he pass block, and he does it all. And he makes it look so easy. And it's obviously not easy at all. But yeah, when he was in his prime, that's a good question, Foots. I can't think of anybody that I would have above him. Zach Martin would be somebody up on that list too. The thing about Zach, though, is he just didn't play as much on an island as you would have seen. Like
that's tough, right, John?
Yeah, Tyron's got some incredible highlights that you're just like, are just like one of one type stuff.
And something you said 6'3" and above.
Yeah,
coordinated. Seth McMillan. Hey, so anyway,
I think you slide devil. Leonard Davis. Leonard Davis, honorable mention. We'll put him in there because honorable mention is our good offensive lineman in the last 20 years. But go ahead.
Let's go. I wanna ask AOC this. We're gonna turn the page here, and man, just Tyron Smith, man. Like salute to if he ever saw this or. Salute to everything you did for the Cowboys. He wore the star correctly, like professionally. Like much love to him.
He should have went to the Jets, man.
I know.
Our guys got to quit putting on other jerseys for a season.
That's a great point,
especially by being green too.
Dez Bryant, bro. Like, Dez, you should have just retired a Cowboy, bro. You ain't even play a full season with none of the other teams, bro. You got to put on another jersey for no reason.
And their season was such a wash. It was like, bro,
it was like. Tyron should just retire last season, bro. But I get it,
and that go, you know what's crazy? John said it like, bro, like you could tell they had peace. It was like, I'm just wondering, like, why did you pick them? Did you really think that they were? This is interesting.
Yeah, that was his kid's college fund. He was like, the Justice pay for my kid's college fund, buddy. So.
But I'm gonna tell you though, I'm gonna say this again. That was a good contract that he had the year before, that incentive-based contract. I thought that should be the way that Jerry and Steven can go far as veteran guys down the stretch is an incentive-laden contract. And the Jets tried to pull a page from that. And I heard that he helped Fasano and Elijah Veritaka and all of those boys by being over there. But although the record didn't reflect, I wish he just stayed over here in silver and blue, to help out Tyler Guyton.
I completely agree. Now, turn the page to a guy who I think has all-pro potential. Well, he's shown he's an all-pro and he's a Hall of Famer. John, I'll turn this to AOC, then I want the panel. AOC, are you surprised that Micah came and was, by the look of how Dallas cut it up, could be very strategic what they did. Dallas is sneaky like that. Their promo team looked like he was one of the first people in the building. Stephen Jones was asked about it. Talk about Micah, AOC.
Man, I ain't surprised Micah came at all, bro. I told you, man. Micah's been a man of his word. He's done everything that he said he was going to try to do. And it's funny because I got a lot of heat last year whenever I was talking about the importance of showing up whenever no one else thinks it matters to show up, and how that reflects on your teammates, and how some of the younger guys and the newer guys in the locker room can look at that. And that's setting the example quietly. There's ways you can lead without saying a single word to people. And people got so mad and upset because it's like they don't want us to criticize or critique these guys. And it's like, hey, no, I'm saying this to Micah so he can be untouchable in his role as a leader on this team. Because that is what's going to happen, bro. You can't not show up to voluntary programs and not do the small things that everyone else on your team is doing, but then try to hold everyone accountable when it matters. So I absolutely love that he showed up. I absolutely love that he's there. I absolutely love he's doing it amidst him negotiating a $200 million contract. So it's like that right there, that's leading. That's setting the example. That's showing everyone what the priority is. You're prioritizing being a leader for your team over your contract negotiations, and that doesn't need to fall on deaf ears of anybody in that locker room. So much respect to Micah, man. I mean, Dak's been doing it for a long time, and god dang, Cowboys fans, just because we compliment one of these guys don't mean that we throwing slugs at the other one, bruh. Stop turning everything into a damn contest. Micah could be doing a good job and growing as a leader without us having to talk about Dak, bruh.
Facts. And speaking of Dak, he's taking a page from Dak Prescott. Unfazed, always going out there to be the first person or the last person to leave out of practice, and also showing up and letting people know, his contemporaries, hey, I'm here for you. My agent is doing all of the fighting for the contract, and I'm going to just sit still, and show y'all that even in a press conference for a retired player, I'm still here showing my respect.
John?
Yeah, I'm not surprised, just because that is a piece that the Cowboys have wanted to see. They want more leadership from Micah Parsons, and I don't have a problem with that at all, especially when you're going to pay that kind of money. And the fact of that you have your clear guy that's your leader in Dak on the offense. Like, who is that going to be for the defense? Right. Micah, we want to give you this money, but we want you to take on that too. Even if that isn't something that isn't natural, or it's not something that you really want to do, you want to kind of take care of your own thing. If that's the case, we still need you to do this because we need it for the greater good of the team. And so I think that it's good that he's showing that he's willing to do that. And I'm sure that a lot of, especially like younger players are glad to see him around and things like that. Cause I know he's only been in the league for 4 years, but I mean, he's got a reputation now. I mean, people know who he is. I mean, he's gone to work and he's delivered out on the field. So you're going to command respect with your play alone. So you don't want to be the guy that's just like, don't worry about me. I'll show up on Sunday and I'll be fine. I think you can kind of get away with that if you have some other like people that might have more of a leadership role. Cause I don't think Tyron was ever like a guy that really wanted to do that. He was fine with Zach or Travis kind of leading that group, Colombo when he was younger, people like that. But I think that they really need Micah to do that for where this team is right now.
I absolutely agree. And then kind of to answer the question that somebody in the chat asked, Common Sense LAB says, why no one says that about CD not being there? John just kind of answered that question. The offensive side of the ball has a built-in place leader. They have someone that's there that everyone understands, like, this is our leader. Everyone understands, like, CD, He's like that the hot shot guy that's going to come in. He's going to lead by example with his play on this field on Sunday. But you're not expecting CD to be that vocal guy or to galvanize the locker room or to be that guy that everyone can kind of go to. Man, CD is your best player on offense. Not everyone has to lead in the same capacity. So that's something that everyone has to kind of come to grips with as well. The defensive side of the ball, they were devoid of an identity or a leader. So someone had to step up and take over those intangible aspects of leading for that side of the ball. So that's why we're making a deal out of it for Micah.
Most certainly, man. AOC is right on point. The vocal leader of the offense is Dak Prescott. And vocally speaking, on the defensive side, we knew that we're going to miss the Jordan Lewis who talks a little bit in the locker room, who try to lead the defense. But I think it's going to be Overshown because that's just his trait. Just because, he's not on the field, Micah Parsons may lead by example on the field, but vocally, I think it's going to be Overshown for the 2025 season whenever he gets back. And the overall team leader, of course, is Dak Prescott.
When I asked Dak that on Friday, though, the one name that he said that at first he didn't say because he wasn't going to name anybody, but at the end he did name Osa. He does think Osa is a guy that can be taking on more leadership too. Especially he's like another guy gets a new contract. He's obviously going to be there. That's important too. You want your best players obviously to be those ones. So I mean they lost.
Shut your ass up, Big Sword.
Yo, AOC. Yo, I was about to, this dude is crazy.
Oh my God.
Yo, listen. AOC was doing so good. I was like, he has a look. Here come Big Sarge. Boom. Hey, I love y'all, chat. I'm gonna say this. I love building these little relationships with you guys. Now, I'm gonna say this. John was making a good point. Here's my thing about leadership, fellas. We that's the thing. The Cowboys collective. We don't. Everybody that offseason. He needs to be Luke Kuechly. I'm gonna tell y'all something. If you're not good, you can lead. I don't care how much you lead, pray. Nobody's following you. That's number one. Like we've had guys. Rah, go get them guys.
J-Ron Curse.
Good.
Go ahead.
they just weren't that. They weren't that good. And so I saw something in the chat that said, "Oh, it only took Micah 4 years to become a leader." Well, hold on, timeout.
Man, cut it
Micah's, he's 23 years old.
He like 25.
The whole
he like 25.
now he is. 4 years ago he was right coming out of college. Why are we? I used to say this when it came to Micah. Why are we expecting a 23-year-old John, 22-year-old to come in and lead a room that he just got just because he's good? How is he going to lead the room? He can't lead himself. He's 23, 24 years old. Like yes, John, you hit it. I think that Steven, and they talked about this, and we'll get to some of his comments. I think that's certainly part of, hey, we about to give you this money, Micah. Like when I called you into Jerry's office and we do these handshake deals, this is part of it, bro. Yeah. I'm gonna make sure you set for life. Hold me down. Like man to man. And so all these people, me, AOC, we kind of been on the same page. Like, bro, y'all mad about him podcasting. The defense changes when he gets on the field. I don't care about. I'm really big on that law. Like I personally, when everybody was talking about the off-ball stuff, right? And he should be more prepared. I told y'all that was Dan Quinn. That was not Micah Parsons. The coaching staff needs to be prepared. Coaches need to coach. So not to go on a tangent, but again, I do think that it's good, John. He showed up, and this whole thought of, Micah had to be a leader ready-made. That's just, I don't think that's how he needed to tell y'all something.
Let me tell y'all something. Hey man, I ain't got a damn diddly thing to say about Micah after Max Crosby decided to become a damn assistant GM in the middle of his NFL prime, bro. Micah can do what the hell he want to do at this point. That man is bulletproof.
I saw that.
Diplomatic immunity, hammer, we can't sue. It's over with, bro. Hey, that was wild to me. I was like, hey, I would be walking down the street
of a whole college
right now, bro. If Micah did some shit like that, bro, you watching high school tape, bro? Could you imagine the comments, man? If Micah was doing that type of stuff,
I think there's two things for me personally when I think of asking Micah to be a leader, and why it kind of has fallen on him even when he was younger is because how many rookies come in right away and they just are a beast? I mean, they exceed like what you even expected, and they play at that high level. And so because of that, people are like, well, you got to expect more of that. I mean, the other part of it too, though, and I don't know if others feel that way, but just for me, is being around him, the way he speaks in front of groups and the way he talks, it's there if he wants to do it. Like he is not like today is a great day, great example. I know that was tough for Tyron to go up there because that's not natural for Tyron to go up there. Micah doesn't need any notes. Micah can just go sit up there and you can ask him any question you want. Like I mean, I feel that way. The tops of that by far is Dak. I mean, you can ask Dak anything. Like he's going to come up with an answer. But Micah's so natural with that. So I think that both of those things kind of factor in. You're like an elite player. He's natural, in his speaking and in the way that he can lead. Right. That's why I think that they're not asking somebody that it doesn't fit them, like they were fine with Tyron Smith not being a vocal guy because that's not really him, but Micah can do that because he has shown you that he can do that.
Yeah. And so you got anything, Law? I'm just
no. Everybody on point with the leadership thing. It's just that the only thing that with Micah Parsons is in the podcast, I think that era while he was doing it, it was just new to everyone. So we sitting here like, come on, man. But now the results are the results, bro.
Can I tell y'all something? John wants to trade up for Shador. Not for Shador, for Travis Hunter. I'm gonna tell you right here now. John, you know what I'm about to say though. Yeah. Travis is gonna have his show wherever he goes. Like Prime and those guys. Have his
show. He said he got 24/7 football. He said he got 18 hours of the day for football, 16 hours a day for football, and 8 hours of sleep. That's what he said. Bruh.
Hunter.
You ain't got time for a podcast. You said you're going to be in all the meetings on both sides. You're going to study the playbook on both sides. You're going to know all the stuff that you need to know pre-game on both sides. That's what he said to the reporters. He said he's going to retire if he can't play both sides.
No, that's a good point, AOC. I mean, that is going to be a lot for him wherever he goes because if you really want to do all that stuff, that's a lot of meetings that I'm just going to be honest with you. That sounds like it could get real boring, And so to keep it interesting to be in both of those meetings like that, I mean, there's no faking that. You either love ball or you don't. Because
you'll be live podcasting from the meetings.
He gonna get some
live pods from the meetings.
He gonna get some type of recourse, man. Depending on what team Travis go to, he's gonna be successful. Depending on who gets him and know how to utilize and use them. But you almost slipped up and said Shador Foots. Guess who got Shador comped as like a Joe Burrows?
Who's that?
Michael Irvin. So look at John. Yeah. Hey, if Shador is Joe Burrows, I think John would mind.
You know what that is, Law. Law, you know what that is. That's Deion and Prime's relationship.
Well, I thought you were about to say something else, Foots.
No, that's that. That's
I thought you were about to say it was something else, Foots.
Your cranium and fertilize your brain.
Listen,
I'll say this: if he was Joe Burrow, I think he'd be in Green Bay at that draft.
Yeah. You're going to be 1-1.
1-1.
You're going to be at that draft.
The thing, you guys know I haven't moved on Shador. He wasn't in my top 50. I watched a lot of his tape. Oh no,
what's the lowest you've had him?
Wow,
I think I got Shador.
Like what number quarterback is he for you?
I think so. Honestly, John, I don't have a first round grade on any of these quarterbacks but Cam Ward, and it was just so alarming to me that I didn't have the interesting one. And I was going to save some of this for tomorrow, so let's put a pin in this. The interesting one is Milroe. I think teams look at Milroe and see a lot of Jalen Hurts with the athleticism, and they may want to come up for him.
Man, y'all told me what I talked about Milroe a couple months ago, man.
I didn't know.
Hold
on, time out. Not as us drafting him, but if you talk about teams wanting to come get him, I mean the traits are there, AOC. But hold on, time out. He has had games where you like, hell no, he ain't ready to play. Like you look at the Vanderbilt tape, bro. He has some throws in that game. It's like, what are you doing? But then you watch Georgia and you like, bro, this kid is the best player in the nation. So it's literally finding that part, AOC. So if I killed you, I apologize because I definitely I'll just say this, AOC. The problem with Shador, he doesn't have any elite traits. Like, I'm sorry, the ball play. If we're just talking about a guy who's accurate, that's like you draft that in the second round. You need to have a big arm. He doesn't have elite size.
I probably haven't seen as much of him as you, but I like when he's rolling out of the pocket and he throws on the run. I do think he does that like at a very high level.
His feel is really good, John. Like he does have a feel for the game. Like he'll step up and through. The problem is this, John. When you're like, you know how fast windows close in the NFL.
Right.
So like he doesn't have the arm where he could be late like Josh Allen and still get that ball in. Like we're talking about how we just brought in
Joe Milton.
Joe Milton.
Yeah.
He has that arm talent where he can be late, but he got a rocket launcher.
Yeah.
So,
overthrows it. Yeah.
Yeah. With Shedeur, like I'm gonna tell you, if anybody goes and watches that BYU tape, you'll see what I mean as far as like the defense was good. They weren't gonna, even though Travis had a big play in that game too, they weren't gonna let Travis win. And then it was like, now you need to make those other places and you need to escape the pocket. And BYU capped everything, and it looked tight.
And did the dang primetime dance.
But he's such a polarizing. I mean, if y'all haven't noticed, the draft is being built around Shedeur.
It is a little bit, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Between them, Hunter, and a little bit of somebody else at the tip of my tongue. But yeah, you're right.
We want Shedeur to go before us. You're praying that New Orleans draft
Jackson
Shedeur.
Dart.
Hey, get him up
Yeah,
here.
any of them.
Jackson,
We need three
just throw him
QBs in the top 11. Three of them in the top 11.
Hey, I'll tell you one that I hope this isn't derailing anything. It's just something I was thinking.
No, you're
about
good.
today.
You're good. This is great.
When you think of the 30 visits with the Cowboys, it's so obvious that like I was doing a mock, three round mock, and it's like it just I don't know. There's probably comps with other teams, but it's just so funny with the Cowboys. It's like if someone asks you, okay, what are their needs? And wide receivers up there, but it's like, no, it's not really wide receiver. It's wide receiver 2. Right. Because it's like soon as those top 4 guys are gone, it's like, no, wide receiver's not a need now. The guys that are there now, they have plenty of those. No. So it's only wide receiver 2 is a need. It's like soon as you get past, like if you don't take that wide receiver at 12, or let's say you move back to 18 or something, like you get in the second round and that group of 4 is gone. No, wide receiver's not a need anymore. They're good. They got that guy. So when people ask you to be like, oh, what are their biggest needs? You say wide receiver, but it's like, I'm not saying that like, well, if they don't get one, they better get one in the third round. No, they're good. They got plenty of third round wide receivers. So it's like wide receivers only a need in the first round. After that, you just move on. And to be honest with you, I think that maybe that becomes one of those things where they're like, okay, well, we're going to try and we'll make a move for somebody off of another team if we get through this draft and we don't have a true wide receiver 2 that we feel like that it's just the way the draft's unfolded. We didn't get McMillan or something. We didn't get Golden. We're going to go get we'll find somebody else.
Garrett Wilson. Yeah, you go ahead and spend the money.
Hey, take it. I'm going to tell you, that will be some egg breaking.
Oh, yeah. So that's an egg breaker. Come on with it. Yeah.
I'm going to tell y'all, tomorrow I got homework for you guys, and we'll tease the show. Because tomorrow I want it to be real draft-centric because we don't know what the schedule is going to be like next week. Tomorrow is going to be very draft-centric. So everybody get ready and come with your homework assignments. Now, I want to turn the page to this Jalen Ramsey news because I think that it does. I think that it could affect the draft. And I watched AOC. You did a great video on it, AOC. So I'm actually going to toss you I'm going to toss you the alley-oop here. I think it hits a need, like a big one. And you just said it, John. If you're sitting there and you look at how you want to draft this year, the Dallas Cowboys are not getting out the first 3 rounds without a weapon, maybe 2. So defense is going to be what? Maybe a linebacker, maybe a D tackle, maybe a corner. But guess what you're doing with that, guys? You playing Russian roulette. You playing Russian roulette, Law. And I'm not going into this year. I told myself, I saw Kalen Carson working out the other day. That's great. I'm not doing that
in space.
I'm not doing that, Law. No.
I don't have the ability.
He was talking to the rookies. Y'all see them say, I don't think it's that much of a difference from the college to the NFL. You know, the speed of the game a little bit different. I'm like, damn, bro. That's what not much of a difference look like. Shit, bro. Yeah. You giving bad advice out there, Kalen.
Oh my God!
Passer rating 125 when targeted. So
that's a good nugget. That's a good nugget, Law. That's a great nugget. And so like my point is this: Dallas, you don't overrate these guys. We think Kalen Carson. And another thing is this: hey man, Aaron White Cotton and this defense and Eberflus, they didn't draft Kalen Carson.
Right.
Hey, man.
Sponsors. Yeah.
So I say all that to say, talk me into Jalen Ramsey, AOC.
I mean, what is there to talk you into, bro? You looking for a consistent veteran cornerback who's going to be able to still cover one of the best teams' best receivers. He's an outside corner. He's still producing. Last year, he only allowed like an 89.8 quarterback rating when targeted. Gave up 3 touchdowns, got 2 picks. He's still one of the better tackling corners in the league. He's one of the more physical corners in the league. This is a press man coverage guy that I think would fit perfectly in Eberflus's defense and what Eberflus wants to be able to do with his corner. And I think it fits the exact needs that the Cowboys have. On top of that, he's a Dallas Cowboy guy. He grew up as a Dallas Cowboys fan. He said himself, he grew up a Cowboys and Titans fan. He thought that Jerry was going to pick him in his draft. They ended up picking Zeke. He kind of held that against them. But now, Jerry, you can walk in there with your championship belt on your shoulder and make Jalen Ramsey feel much better about how y'all deceived him in the past. I think that he's perfect, bro. I think that would fit that need, and it would take your need of drafting corner. It would take that away as far as one early. You could still draft one for developmental purposes, maybe in the 5th round or something, but you wouldn't have to do that anymore with Jalen Ramsey. And because of how much money he's owed, $21.1 million this year, and he's still on the hook for another 2 or 3 seasons, bro, at that high of a cap hit number, it's not going to take an early or a day 1 or day 2 type of pick. I think you could probably swing it for 2 day 3 picks, maybe a 6th and a 7th or a 5th and a 6th or something like that. I think you could get Jalen Ramsey for that, bro. And you can afford it. If you're the Cowboys go playing, you can afford it.
If you can, that's one of the things that Jalen Ramsey is one of those guys that can really propel your team on physicality. If we are a slip and fall from Bland being hurt for 2 or 3 weeks, and now we are back in the same spot. So you got to get somebody that's a veteran who got a Super Bowl pedigree because he got a ring. On top of that, the other thing is you got to push this like this with Micah Parsons with leadership and say, hey, Ramsey, David Mulugeta, y'all have the same agent. Let's work out a deal. Let's swing something. I think that if it goes down to this part right here, if you really, really want them, AOC, Foots, and John, sacrifice that 3rd round draft pick and just be done with it. But that's very healthy.
Mulugeta always trying to get too much. No,
Mulugeta. But here's the other thing though.
I think I might do that, Law, honestly. If I got my 2 weapons and I feel good about my guys, I think I may do that. But
his contract lines up with the timeline of the rest of the Cowboys too, by the way. His contract ends in 2028. That would line up with Dak and the rest of these guys' contracts coming up. So it fits in that window that the Cowboys are building for right now. I'm just saying.
Because I'm looking for a DB in the top 100s, so.
Yeah, I mean, you presented a 3rd round pick. If I can get
hold on before you say anything else. And Miami got to take a piece of this money too, Hey, I'm helping you out. You got to help me out a little bit, I think we did deals like that before on the inverse side, whereas I think Cleveland took some of the money with Amari Cooper. Right. We got to work something out.
Okay, let's look at this, Law. I want to look at how many picks we actually have. So this is interesting, right? You say we have pick 76. We would give them that, but we still have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 picks after 76. I might do that if I know I'm getting a side of the field locked down.
Right.
I can put Bland inside. I don't want to play the game. Oh, can I get Savon Ravel? He was an injury guy. Oh,
ACL. Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, we started this series off with we don't know what corner is going to look like.
Facts.
And if Miami's openly saying that we're going to move you, this defense feels a lot better with. And then I personally don't think that Ramsey has to be your 1. I think.
Right.
Let me ask y'all this: how would you configure that room?
Shit, it would depend on the matchups for me, depending on who you putting who on. Because I think that Ramsey probably is a step slower than Deron Bland, so I'm probably putting DB.
But is he better than Diggs right now, AOC? That's the question.
Shit, Diggs hurt, so it don't matter.
I just don't want to see Booth, man. I don't. No Booth and Carson's. Hey, slowly integrate him in. Josh Butler, he's fighting back from an ACL himself, so you don't want to throw him out there too quickly. So this would be a no-brainer to me for a 3rd round draft pick, and the Miami takes some of the money and we work something out. I think this would be a no-brainer.
I mean, you
still
get that
draft the
third.
cornerback. Yeah.
You get
Eagles
another
fan is
third
in the
by
chat
trade.
really trying to get some attention.
Morna, somebody put this man in a gulag. He over here trying to get censored bad, bro. Bernard, get Bernard FBA out about it. Right,
go ahead, John.
If you traded back a little bit in the first, like if you move from like 12 to whatever, 15 or 16, you get another third round pick. So if they didn't love somebody that's there at 12, they can move back a handful of spots and get that third round to make that move. With me, the Cowboys have been kind of cheap. So that's the only reason why I'm like, are they cool with the money? If they're cool with the money, they can make this happen. It makes too much sense, you know? The only way that I would think that it wouldn't is if they absolutely like love what they think they can get in corner in the second or third round. If they don't feel that way, then why wouldn't you do Ramsey? It'd be very similar to the backup quarterback where they probably don't love the guys that are here. Let's go get Joe Milton. And now we don't have to, rely on one of these guys that we take in the 5th, 6th, 7th round. And so, I'm all for it. I still think that there's tread on the tire, and I think that he would, instantly. So, and then once you get Diggs back, you could potentially have Ramsey and Diggs on the outside and Bland in the slot, and then you're real strong there. So, I would be all for it. I'm surprised that things have gone the direction they've had with Jalen Ramsey and Tyreek Hill in just such a short period of time in Miami.
Oh, I can give y'all a
segue. Let me ask you this first. I want to pick your brain. Who's your CB1 within range of the second and third round for you?
It would probably be Savon Ravel. I'm a big Ben Morrison guy. I just don't like. So actually, for me,
and you like small schools, you don't care about the school, none of that. You good.
So I was gonna say, for me, it would actually be Ben Morrison. I think that though, for the Cowboys, it would be Savon Ravel. He came in. He looks the part. Yeah. If you saw him next to Jerry Law, he looks the part. Like bigger, imposing corner. And
we use a Jerry old ass as a
remember AOC. We gotta stay. We did not.
The Matthew Gold thing was like, yo, what the heck?
Hey, John, we gotta stay consistent.
Jerry needs to put some shells on, bro. Jerry.
Bro, I'm looking at Golden like, bro, is he 6 feet at least? He looks small, like, and so
very big guy, bro.
But Savon was skying over him, so Savon Ravel would be the guy for me. I see the problem with Morrison is the hip injury, but I tell y'all, man, if y'all get a chance, just go watch 2023 verse before you do that. AOC, hold on.
Corners and hips foots. Ugh.
Yeah, I know. You can't have grandmas out there. Hips.
I know.
Why most of that position is about being able to. Come on, man.
Hips.
That's tough, bro.
Why you ain't talking about the PBU king, man? Trey, why you don't like?
I like Amos. I like Amos, and he started at Alabama, went to Ole Miss. I like Amos. I just think that Morrison and even Maxwell Harrison is just way better for what we do. Like those guys.
Kentucky. But keep going.
And I know. See, and that's what we do. It's sad.
I'm just playing.
No. But you still feel that way because we get PTSD with some of these guys, right? Like the good thing is Maxwell Harrison is like literally the complete opposite. Like coaches rave about him.
Yeah.
When you started hearing stuff, I tell people when you started hearing stuff about Boss Man Fat, no coach. Literally, no coach wanted to vouch for you. Even the coach
at LSU. Yeah,
we should have known, man. Boss Man, hey man, Boss Man Fat is one of the names you give one of them badass little kids, bro, walking around with snotty noses,
with the hanging diaper.
Man,
like change that baby diaper.
Around with a badass kid name, you already know he up to no good, bro.
But I'm gonna tell y'all something, and I mean this, fellas. I think that they are looking at linebackers. I just keeps in the second round. Like I know
that early.
I listen, Law. Do not if the kid Swearinger is there, do some work on him, Law. Just the fact that they had their coaches work him out at the pro day. They were 3 teams that worked him out. It was the Cowboys, it was the Giants, and I forget the other team. I think that they not Schlesinger. I think they like Schlesinger. They see Sean Lee. They see a clean player. They see a player, and remember, Matt Eberflus is gonna get his pick. At some point, he's going to get a player that he wants. And so that would be more of the reason to, man, give up one of these picks to go get Ramsey and then get if the pairing would be weapon, backer, weapon, or, some type of – but I think that I do not be surprised if they go linebacker earlier than we – even with all the backers that they brought in, because we don't know when Overshown's going to be ready, So that's a
well. Let me ask you a question here. Let's go back to corner real quick. All right. So when I was doing that mock, I gave them Amos in the second. Okay.
Yeah. Nice, John.
Yeah.
So Azareye'h Thomas was gone. So the best guys were Trey Amos, Ravel, Morrison. But also in that mock, Morrison fell to like early third round. Wow. So there's a part of me where I'm like, if you could get Morrison in the third, that would be phenomenal. But I just don't think that any of those guys, do you think any of those guys could fall to the third, or is that just completely unrealistic?
John, this time last year, if you would have told me that Peyton, what's the linebacker last year from NC State,
went to Denver. Went to Steelers. Yeah.
Peyton Wilson, John. And you remember Peyton Wilson. He was linked to Dallas, big linebacker. We needed a backer. We ended up going Maris. If you would have told me he would have fell to the fourth round, now obviously the medical, I wouldn't have believed you. So I'm just going to tell you, John, crazier things have happened. I love Morrison. I know the hip injury, but I would be happy. But I don't think that you made a bad pick with Amos. We should probably talk about your mock tomorrow. We could get to it. I'll just say this.
Yeah, we could do that.
We could do something. I'll say this. Corners on their radar, and going to AOC's point, why not just attack it with Jalen Ramsey? I mean, because it is on their radar.
Jair Alexander, bro. I mean,
I think I would go Ramsey over Ramsey.
Yeah, because
Alexander.
His health. Ramsey's going to be there. He's consistently on the field. That's the one thing about Ramsey.
He brings the attitude to this team.
He brings that attitude. He has the championship pedigree. The guys are going to listen to him. So I like Ramsey from a variety of different perspectives. But speaking of Ramsey, Steven kind of alluded to something I think everyone kind of missed yesterday, and that was the fact that he said the Cowboys were not done yet making moves. He said the Cowboys were not done yet as it pertains to looking at guys at some of these other teams. They are doing exactly what we kind of discussed, guys. They're waiting for this draft to pass, and they're waiting for more situations like this Jalen Ramsey situation to happen. I don't think that they want to overinvest into the market of guys that's currently available as free agents. And I think that they're comfortable kind of playing a long game here. Like Steven said, he's going to spend until the last day, until it's not time to spend anymore. And I believe him because, bro, I know people hate Stephen Jones, but he's not the one that lies to you, bro. Stephen tells you the truth. There's most of the time you don't want to hear what he has to say. That's Stephen's thing. So
I honestly don't hate Stephen Jones, and I'm with you. So this is what great segue, AOC, like beautiful layup. Stephen Jones said yesterday, and me and John spoke yesterday. Stephen Jones said yesterday, AOC, without being asked, right? Dallas could definitely trade. But he said definitely. I could definitely see a situation where we trade back.
Right.
These are his words. I'm gonna start with you, Law. Why would Stephen Jones, basically the de facto GM of the Dallas Cowboys, put that chum in the water? Is he trying to throw teams off? This is all. These teams play these mind games. We've been in, we've seen Arizona. Yeah. Arizona did this cool series where they play mind games at this time of year. Why would he say that? Is it real? Is it fake? Law.
Shoot. At first, when I first heard it, and it took me, I'm like, man, why is he giving away all of the secrets, right? Just off of just not really looking into what he's saying. But now that I'm looking at what he's saying, is basically you can do two things with that spot. You can hold that spot at the 12th spot for ransom, especially if it's a certain player that you know for sure whoever's behind you need that certain player. And you can hold that spot for ransom, especially an offensive lineman. I think that the Bengals really need an offensive lineman to help out Joe Burrows, right? They may move up to that spot. Or if he look at this draft board, depending on who leaves before that time frame, just like what John was saying earlier, if tags are touching, basically, he can slide back to the 18th or the 17th spot, and that could be a very much so tangible thing of what he said. Even though he's telegraphing his game plan, it's still, believe it or not, y'all, I know we talk bad about Stephen Jones on my side, but that's a very brilliant move because now teams are going to be thinking, should I move up to that 12th spot before he slide back and another team get that player that I want? So that's a valuable spot to be in.
Yeah,
that's a real thing.
There's that, but then there's also that I think that it's because he also says that he doesn't see them trading up as they look at their board right now. So their board is obviously saying that there's not that many of those elite players that they'd be willing to give up. So, and the reason why I think you also say that you're willing to trade back is, one, you've done it twice in the last 4 years. So it's obviously gotten you an additional 3rd-round picks. It got him BB last year. It got him, it was Chauncey Golston 2 years ago. And then in 2013, they did it with Frederick and got Terrence Williams in the 3rd. So I think that they look at it as, hey, at 12, there's a good chance there could be 4 or 5 players we like. So why not move back, get another 3rd? But my thing on this too is, though, because this isn't considered like a real deep draft, and I'm wondering though if the trade back, because people are always like, oh, well, you got to have another team that's willing to trade with you to be able to do it. Oh no, there's always going to be a team to trade. It's what are you willing to do? So this could be one of those drafts where what in past times typically got you a 2nd, or let's say a late 2nd. This might be a draft where we can move back, but we're only going to get an early 3rd. We're not going to get that late 2nd like we would have got last year, the year before. Right. Are you willing to move back for that? And they might be, because they might sit there and they might look at we get that extra 3rd though, man. There's a lot of guys we like in that area, and we're still getting a guy that we really like at 17 or something like that. So believe me, if they want to get out of 12, there will be a team for them to get out of 12 with. But the key to this is there has to be this group of players that they like. They're not going to get out of 12 if they're like, McMillan's there. We like him better than these other 5 guys. They're taking McMillan. Yeah. But if let's say McMillan's gone, Genty's gone, and they're sitting there at 12 and they're like, man, 5 of these guys are all kind of the same thing to us. They're different positions, but we'd be happy with any of them. Why not take the additional 3rd and move back 5 spots?
Yeah.
Shout out to my boy Lando show, man. Lando, quit being Hollywood too, man. You see me DM you back, man. I know it took me a week. I don't be checking my Twitter DMs like that, man. Quit being Hollywood, bro. But go ahead, man.
You're trying to. This is big. And Lando, you are a giant in the community. We love you, JC. We see you showing love as always. That's what this is about. So thank you so much. We actually did some work earlier today, Lando. This cross pollination is dope, and this is what it's supposed to be. And I appreciate that, man. We appreciate it. And thank you for the super. I want to say this, guys.
Man, screw y'all.
Hey, you didn't read it, man. I'll wait till you read it, man.
As a producer, right? Go ahead, Law. Give us the law voice.
Okay. You got to put it back on the screen for me.
And remember,
as a producer, writer, I rarely get to consume content anymore, but I genuinely look forward to this show and respect each of its 4 contributors immensely. You got a good thing going here. Let's go, baby. Let's go.
Can I just say something, y'all?
Yeah.
How is Law able to do that? That's different. My man really got 2, maybe 3 voices. That's all right there.
That's my real voice, man. I'm just playing around with
you.
DDG over here.
Hold on. As someone who wishes that they had a deep voice, the deep voice thing that he has, I'm sorry, but that's the Tyron Smith left tackle. Some of the stuff he's just born with. Okay, let's. He's not doing voice exercises to get that deep radio voice. Come on.
Hey, John with off the top floor. I thought it would be off the top rope. I thought it would be AOC, but it's John. All right, here we go. Let's do this because I want to say something. And I told y'all. And now I'm gonna take a victory lap, AOC. And you sit right here and you listen to me.
All right, here we go.
I told you Oakland. I mean, I always do Oakland.
Put the overlay back on before you start cutting up.
Las Vegas. The reports came out today, John. That they love Armand Membu. It's been reported heavily. And I keep telling people, stop just thinking that Ashton Genty is a lock in Las Vegas.
He going.
No, he's not. Because you guys aren't looking at other teams' needs. John, you do these mocks and you talk to these writers. There are teams that are like, listen, we have a janitor at left tackle. Y'all don't understand how bad some of these lines are because we are in this Cowboys world. I've said it about the Bears as well. Yeah, they put stopgaps on their offensive line, but GMs are getting fired if they don't bring in the right players and pieces. And so when I saw that report come out, I said, and I'm really tight with a guy in the Raiders community, Sanjit. He does a lot of good work. And he's told me, he was like, bro, don't pencil in Ashton Genty as a lock there. Right. Just because they don't have the ability to draft one over like a luxury. The Raiders aren't, their roster isn't that good. So And I say this to say we talk about trading back.
Right. Yeah, and we know the roster is not that good. I watched Trey Lance sit there and go back and forth with them for a couple of series in that last preseason game. So anyway, sorry, go on.
But Fush, you do got a point because they just coming off of their version of Ashton Jeanty at Josh Jacobs, right? Even though it's a different regime. So to a point, I'm praying that all of a sudden somehow Jeanty do fall to the 12th spot.
Man, he get past the Raiders, he ain't getting past the Bears. I understand the different needs and stuff, but I understand the needs. But brother, Pete Carroll is a fiend when it comes to wanting him a running back, a bell cow running back. He's always had one at every stop that he's been at, and the Raiders have no running back on that roster for real. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if they went that way because they really don't even have receiving weapons or anything. They have a tight end, and that's
Bowers,
it, bro.
Yeah.
Hey, but AOC, hold on. You don't think those reports are real about them loving the tackle?
I mean, it could be, but that don't mean I love him more than Jeanty.
But you gotta eat your vegetables, bro. Like you cannot.
See, have you seen Jeanty? He eating vegetables, giraffe legs, everything. Boy, hey, that man, hey.
Yeah,
I'm drafting Jeanty.
Ashton Jeanty is almost like Ashton Hall. You know, you just don't have the Saratoga water. You know,
what are you guys gonna do if he's at 12? And you hear that little music come on, and they're trading back.
I'm going like this.
Oh man,
it's gonna be nightmarish.
Oh man,
what if that happened and we still get them? That would be dope.
Oh well, yeah. There's glass half full.
That's 300 people in here, guys. Make sure that we
glass half full.
So make sure that we talk about John. I wouldn't be happy. I'm not gonna sit here and I fake a smile, John, but
I
wouldn't be happy.
I wouldn't be rants posted everywhere.
But I'm telling you that's the beauty of the draft. Like it's the greatest reality TV because we spent all these months, all these mocks, and David Arnett goes in the first you know what I mean? Like, bro, and we're talking about Las Vegas here. They've done this before. I'm telling you. Don't be surprised, like you said. Another thing that we didn't talk about, Kellen Moore just had Jalen Hurts. What if he likes Jalen Milroe?
If he like Jalen Milroe, take him that high.
Come on, Kellen.
He gonna be on the job in a couple of seasons. Because you don't take no Jalen Milroe in the top 10, bro. That you try to get fired doing some stuff like that.
Hey, AOC, they're bringing him to the draft. That's been the news.
That's crazy to me.
I saw it.
John, they're bringing him to the draft.
I'm old enough to see a Josh Rosen goes in the top 10. So
come on, Long.
So it's crazy things.
You brought up Josh Rosen yesterday.
Where would
you brought up Josh Rosen? Yeah,
in a redraft, though. In a redraft, I mean, where do you think Jalen Hurts would go? First. I mean, I think he'd go top 10.
See, no. I don't want to be a hater.
I'm about to say, you about to make me be a hater. No.
John, then don't watch this year's draft because if you come at me with some Jackson Dart shit, don't even.
I would take,
stop it.
Screw
Spicy John, I love it.
Jackson Dart,
Spicy John.
SpongeBob SquarePants, Patrick Star, and Squidward the Squid over Jalen Hurts, bro.
Spicy John, I love it.
Oh my God. I understand.
Top 5 roster.
I understand you guys are Cowboys fans. You're not supposed to like or talk positively about the Eagles, but like Jalen Hurts, I think
is ass. He's ass.
The Cowboys gonna draft him though. They were gonna draft Jalen Hurts, I believe, that year, but the Eagles said, you know what? Let me get in front of it.
Here's my thing, John. I think he would go mid first round. I think the thing is that roster is loaded.
No, yeah, it is.
So, and they've done some good things there.
Well, hold on. What do you think Rosen's doing with that roster?
Shit, Rosen win a Super Bowl too. Nick Foles did. Get out of here.
AOC ready for this fight.
Hey, man.
Hey, I love when y'all get spicy, John, man. I ain't gonna lie to you.
I'll tell you, I think a lot of Howie Roseman, but man, AOC must just have him on another level.
100%. Screw Jalen Hurts. He gets no credit.
Hey, so listen, and I'll tell y'all this, right? I can honestly say, like, this draft is going to be one of those ones. I wanted to ask y'all how far, if you guys are looking at the draft order, I asked John this last night. I asked you, AOC, how far, since Stephen Jones, and we'll end with this, how far would you trade back, AOC?
Oh, man, I'm not going past Pittsburgh.
Okay.
21.
What are they? 21.
Pittsburgh is at 21. I'm not going past 21, bro.
Okay. John.
Because I think 21 is a
my
sweet
bad.
spot. Yeah, I think 21 is a sweet spot for getting a guy like an Ibuka or a Luther Burton or something like that.
Okay.
Without reaching.
Law.
Oh my. I'm not as risky as AOC or anyone else, but I'm only sliding back a few spots because I don't want what happened with what the Giants did. You know, they slid back and they moved off from Smitty. They moved off from Micah Parsons and end up getting a Kadarius Toney. I just don't want to do that. I just think that the Cowboys should stay where they at. You got about 10 to 15 maybe true first rounders. They should be able to look at their draft board and find somebody within the top 10 to 15. Only 2 or 3 spots, but no, I can't deal with 18 to 21. I'm not that risque.
John?
You say that though, but like if you do go to that 20, 21 spot, you're probably getting a second.
Yeah.
As opposed to a third, you know? So then if I'm giving you 2 2s though, does it change the way you feel about it though?
Who we moving on from? Yeah. Now this going to extend the show, but who we moving on from though?
Yeah.
In that case, in that situation.
You're doing it, and you're gonna get Walter Nolan, and you're gonna deal with it.
No.
And they better.
I won't be on the show that week. I'll see Nolan. I got to cry in the car.
Get a Walter Nolan.
No.
Let's get to this. Let's get to this super, and then we'll get out of here. So
hey,
first,
they do that, but they take an edge rusher.
Yeah,
and then so you have the 2 2s. So with the 2s, one of them you're probably doing running back, and the other one you're probably doing corner.
I'm not mad at that, John. I'm not. That's if you get an edge rusher that you really love, and then you get your other needs. Yeah, that's not.
You just look at the 30 visits. You look at, let's say, like a Shamar Stewart, Michael Williams, James Pierce Jr. that they've had in. Like if you're not taking them at 12, why are you bringing those guys in other than in a trade back scenario? You know.
And the goal is. I'm not gonna lie. The goal is to make sure we have a better team. This is diabolical. I would definitely take this, you know, especially with how we're going to draft. We're going to do what John just said. Get these pieces in here. We'll have over 7 wins. If you don't play this, bet US TV. I don't know why you're watching this show. Now, here we go. I want to talk about this real quick because this is a good name. Dante Thornton. He's a 4.3 guy, big body. Here's the thing. Tennessee's offense, I'm out. Like, the way in, but it's crazy because we just got brought in a Tennessee quarterback who looks better in the NFL than he did. We talked about that last year. Yeah. Reunited and it fits so, but with Thornton, he's a speed guy. The thing is, like, bro, when you watch them play, they're like outside the numbers spread. And it's literally mesh point throw. So I don't know with Thornton. Jalen Hyatt scared me.
In my mock in my 3rd round. Just because you said that, I had to say I ended up taking Dylan Sampson, so I know you're not gonna like that.
actually, John,
I looked at the numbers and I was like, okay.
He led the SEC in rushing, so I'll give you him.
Yeah,
Brugler,
I like him.
Brugler compared him to a smaller version of Tony Pollard, and so that's why.
Hell no!
I go. All right, then this works here. But
no, you're trolling at this point.
Actually, no. The thing is, I don't think he's trolling attack because Sampson is really physical. He's just short. Yeah. And he's just
what you do with Sampson, what you do with Sampson, you got the tiny Deuce Vaughn. But you would have a heavy load with Javonte Williams, right? And then Sampson and
mix and match.
Okay, this is what he said. He goes, Sampson is undersized by NFL standards and his inconsistent tempo gets him in trouble, but he's equal parts fast, physical, and slippery as a runner and shows promise as a pass catcher. He can have a Tony Pollard-like impact on an NFL backfield.
In other words, being an average NFL running back. Got it.
Hey, well, I'll say this.
Average NFL running back.
Well, to be real,
I was
about to say, to be real, we did draft Pollard in the 4th. So John isn't off. And I mean, if you got the great Dane Brugler's blessing, I mean, John, you go out to lunch with him, you talk with him. So I'm not mad at that. You get that type of insight on the Cowboys collective. I wouldn't be mad at him, but Thornton, I don't know. Like, give me Torrey Horton from Colorado State. Give me one of those guys who have played with more nuance. I just think with Josh Heupel's offense, it literally is. This is what you're gonna do with that RPO stuff, and you know they're going through all that stuff with Nico, and I'm cool on him, but I'm not mad at Dylan Sampson. I'm really not. So that would be cool, John. Anybody got anything else before we close?
I heard that, that they kind of like DJ Giddens. So, I don't know whether or not that's going to be a 3rd round draft pick. I think he should fall more than like the 4th, but we don't have that. So,
yeah. So
that's going to be intriguing on how the Cowboys going to move with that running back. And only reason why I said it because he come from that program,
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think this was another banger. You guys make sure you tap in tomorrow. So here's everybody's homework. You guys, we're going to be reviewing tomorrow. Make sure everybody's here. We're going to be reviewing John Machota's mock. I think we should do that from The Athletic. I'll have it pulled up, ready to go. But then AOC.
Well, no, the mock that I did was only the first 3 rounds. I did it
for
another podcast. It's not something that I wrote on.
Okay, cool. All right, so this is what we'll do.
I got the whole breakdown of who I picked, so we can still like argue about I can tell you who was there, and you can say who you guys would have rather taken in those spots.
Okay,
you know what I'm saying?
Hey, John, you're a jackass. Why'd you make this decision?
Exactly. Please. I am fine with that. We will do that.
We're gonna review John's mock in the second half, but in the first half, I'm gonna be fighting your guys' first round picks. So AOC have a 1st and a 2nd round pick. John have a 1st and a 2nd round pick. Law have a 1st and a 2nd round pick. And what I'm going to do is tell you yay or nay, and you're going to tell me yay or nay. Like me and AOC have kind of done this already with Matthew Golden and Tet. So you guys, if you guys had the same guys, it's cool. But bring a 1st and a 2nd round pick, and I'm going to tell you or yay, and we'll really go deep dive and then why you guys want these guys. And then ultimately, I'll get your guys' pick for the Cowboys, who you think they ultimately will go with. So have that homework.
And I like that again.
Trey Amos, baby.
Oh, y'all hear this dude? Oh, no, we end the show. I'm gone. Did you hear that, John? John, did you just hear that?
No, what'd he say?
Law, did you hear that?
What did he say?
No, he didn't. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Hopefully somebody caught that on the chat, but I got to go. Much love for you guys. Cowboys Collective. Law, get us out of here,
Yes, indeed, man. Y'all know where it's at. Cowboys Collective. And remember, you're listening to the 4 of the Bass. Let's get it. Peace.
Hey, much love, y'all. See y'all tomorrow. Peace. All right, y'all. He said...